Hi, I'm Victor Lambs, and you're listening to The Secrets of Stargate, where we talk about hidden meanings and deeper layers found in the Stargate movies, TV series, and more. And joining me today are Lisa Jones. Hi, Lisa.
Hey, Victor.
And Jeff Haecker. Hi, Jeff.
Hey, Victor.
Jack couldn't be with us today as he is busy tracking down that trust ship, which is in outer space somewhere. But today we are discussing the 10th episode of Season 8 of Stargate SG1, Endgame. In this episode, the Stargate is mysteriously stolen from the SGC right out from under Walter's nose, leading SG1 to discover that the Trust, a rogue former NID organization, has taken control of an advanced ship in orbit. The Trust plans to use the stolen Stargate to launch a full-scale chemical attack against the Goa'uld, using rockets filled with symbiote poison, which is deadly to both Goa'uld and Jaffa. Teal'c investigates a series of widespread Jaffa deaths and discovers that the Trust is responsible for the massacre of millions of Jaffa using the symbiote poison, though nobody seems too broken up about all that. Meanwhile, Dr. Daniel Jackson and Colonel Samantha Carter attempt to recover the stolen Stargate and uncover the Trust plans. In the end, SG1 manages to stop the Trust's attack by infiltrating their ship, disabling it, and recovering the stolen Stargate. The episode highlights the ongoing conflict between the Trust and SG1, as well as the complex moral dilemmas faced by the team in their efforts to protect Earth and the galaxy from various threats. What did you think about this episode, Lisa?
I have little mixed feelings. Overall, I think it was an interesting plot. You know, what happens if the Stargate goes poof? And, and then what happens, who did it, how to get it back, all the things. And it also brings in another storyline about the symbiote poison and, that's kind of been hanging out there. Overall, though, I'm kind of like, it's a lot of running around, a lot of talk. It was kind of hard to follow sometimes where everybody was and what they were doing. So I don't know. I like it, but not the most exciting.
What about you, Jeff?
Yeah, I like this one. It was fun seeing the Alpha site and kind of more fully. I know it was a couple episodes ago that we saw that a billionaire guy got to go to the Alpha site, but you see it like built up with a runway and they have F-302s on it and stuff. So that was always cool to kind of see the off-world bases, and we'll see more of that in this season. And I did like the storyline of the Trust. It's still, I think there might be one more, maybe two more episodes about because Chekhov's cargo ship, it escapes, and so we'll see more ramifications of that later. But it was also kind of it was just interesting seeing this huge super weapon that is killing all these Jaffa and Goa'uld, but you don't really see, you see it through the eyes of Teal'c, and I believe his name is Mazael, the kind of really muscular guy he was in the one episode in season 7 where the Tok'ra and Jaffa were and the humans were all at the Alpha site together. So kind of seeing it through their eyes, and unfortunately he passes away due to the poison, and it kind of makes you think like maybe the Jaffa maybe they should move beyond the Goa'uld at this point and use at least the allied Jaffa and take up the humans' offer to get Tritonin. And it was kind of, I had forgotten that he dies in this one, so I was kind of thinking like, come on, Teal'c, you probably have Tritonin, just give him a shot and see, try to help him out. But I mean, it might have been too late at that point. But you get to see all the team kind of working together. Even at the end, you see Teal'c come through and save Sam and Daniel, they were fighting them on the ship already. So, and of course Jack's just back at the SGC, and just kind of waiting out the rest of the season for the most part. But I like this one. I thought it was kind of a fun one overall.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the middle, between both of you. I do like the action. We get some cool action sequences. We get a good mix of off-world. I think we go to like 3 or 4 different planets in this one, and running around I guess in Colorado Springs. It really don't say where they are, but that seems to be where most of the action is centered. And I think my biggest problems with it are, they throw out there oh yeah, 3 million or however many million Jaffa have just been like wiped out with a chemical weapon, that Daniel Jackson is responsible for, essentially, because he's the one who gave the Trust the access codes to allow them to use the ship. And there's no kind of and Peter DeLuise even mentioned this on the commentary track, that they don't really wrestle with this at all in the episode. I mean, you see Sam get a little upset when she's on the cargo ship and tells them to skip a planet, and we don't really find out why she tells them to skip that particular planet and go to the next one, I don't think. But so it's a lot of really good action, but the story itself, there's tremendous stakes. Like, we've never seen like millions of people, getting wiped out, or if we have, it's been a momentous thing, and it's just like, and especially the Jaffa, who we are allied with as the audience and stuff. But otherwise, I mean, we do get to see a Tok'ra Zarin in this, played by Brandy Ledford from Andromeda. So it was cool to see that. But yeah, I thought that Mazel stuck around for a little bit longer too than he actually did.
I'm with you on the emotional impact of the millions of Jaffa. So the scene where Teal'c goes to the planet and they're all dead, and Mazel, is like, "Come, I'll show you," and like everybody's dead.
Yeah,
and I guess in my mind, I feel like that should have been its own episode, is dealing with this rather than Trust and running around and there's Tok'ra and there's I just feel like there was just constant movement and stuff, and I don't know. I felt like it was very distracting, and it minimized what just happened. I mean, I'm glad they came back to that biological weapon that had been established, and then we put it away for whatever. It's fine. It's not fine. So that's very Stargate, though.
Yeah,
Let's just do something, and then just sweep it under the rug and like move on, and like nothing bad happened. You're fine. You were tortured for a whole episode. You're fine.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think like the banality of the Trust like operation too, right? They're on the Alcash, the bomber ship, and they're just firing these little missiles through the Stargate, but they just have like their little, rolling laptop desks and their like little office cubicle desks that they've set their computers up on, and it's just three of them up there. That I don't think they're a very well funded organization if it's just like 3 operatives, but there's probably more they can afford to pay different scientists and stuff, but. Yeah, and it's just like, we're just up here just kind of firing missiles through a Stargate and, wiping people out and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. It was like, are they really a threat? Oh, well, they're killing millions of people. But it I don't know. It wasn't bad. It just didn't, I don't know, something off with me.
Yeah.
I was also I was trying to remember if the planet Sam was talking about skipping, if that is like, if she was saying there's that for a reason, or if it was just, I didn't have a chance to look up what the gate address she said to skip was, and if it was actually like, some important planet we've been to before or something. But I was also kind of thinking, well, why doesn't the Trust, they have a ship with hyperspace. Why don't they could go to any planet they want to that has there's millions of planets, right. Or, at least thousands of planets that have gates that are probably, not colonized by anyone. And they could just use that as a home base. I guess just because they would have to come back to the Earth to restock on munitions and stuff. And I guess they can be detected when they come in from hyperspace. So maybe that's why they were only one used. But then when you steal the Earth gate, yeah, that's pretty conspicuous. They're going to eventually figure out that, there's a ship that beamed it up. And when they find out it's not the Asgard, there's not too many other people it could be. So yeah, the Trust plan kind of doesn't all hold together in the end.
Yeah.
And also the ship just being still out there. I'm like, has the Air Force not just been patrolling and trying to, shooting clouds of space dust or something around the Earth to try to see, here's where the dust makes the shape of a ship. So maybe we'll blow it up or something, figure that we know that's where the ship is now.
Yeah. There's quite a few holes in this too. When Teal'c gets to the Alpha site and we see, who is our Major Pierce, who we saw as a Lieutenant Pierce, I think in the episode, the first ones. But when he's like, oh, have you tried dialing the Earthgate? It's like, yeah, we connected to it, but we got a do not proceed on our our GD dial home or GDO our devices. So they don't want us to come through. And it's like, well, did you send a MAUP through, or did you like throw a camera through just to see what's going on? Because it's clear they don't have an iris on the thing, because Teal'c's able just to walk through at the end. So maybe he just got tired of waiting. He's just like, I don't care. I'm just gonna.
Where is the iris?
Yeah, wouldn't it have been because they didn't just show the iris like go blop onto the floor or something after the gate got beamed up.
I'm guessing they just didn't have like the control for it,
to close it,
built into their system so that they couldn't actually do it. Like, because that's probably like an Earth-based system, and it's not like they can just, I don't know. But yeah, that's another plot hole.
Yeah.
Can we just talk for a minute about the best opening, one of the best openings to a Stargate episode, and that is Walter.
Exactly.
And whoever this guy was, have we seen him before?
No, and okay. I don't know if it's Scott Owen or I think it's Rob Haecker actually, who was one of Walter's kind of like improv comedy partners. So they do this like in Canada, I guess, at around the time that they were doing this, they were doing like, kind of like competitive improv comedy competitions. And it's the same one that I think Gary Jones used to do with like Ryan Stiles before he went on to like do the Drew Carey and the Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Oh, wow.
But so he's one of his improv comedy partners there. So no, I don't think we see them again after this.
That was fabulous though, wasn't it?
Yeah, they go to get coffee and then.
Do you ever think about just dialing the gate and going somewhere? Walter's like, no.
Yeah.
Me neither.
Yeah.
And talking about how boring it is at 3 a.m. and
yeah,
I like that. And then Daniel gets to grill them. Like that was so.
And then mess with them a little bit too. It's like, wait, you were getting coffee? Yeah.
Yeah. Why was Daniel the one doing that? Like it's not his department.
Yeah, it was filmed by the second unit, so probably he was the one who was available at the Stargate set or something.
He wasn't busy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was a good. I mean, they had great moments, and like Daniel saying, "I'd hate to be the guy who has to call the president."
Yeah.
He's standing right next to Jack's like looking at him, and Daniel does his little double take that he does.
Yeah. Yeah, so there are some really good moments, but a lot of it doesn't add up. I mean, although, we get to track down the scientists. There was one scientist that was on the video, and then I don't think they actually mentioned, like, did they talk to him or did they find him or was he
disappeared?
But
disappeared.
Yeah, he disappeared, but they're not like his body washed up or anything. Yeah, how many like shifty scientists do we need? So they go to Area 51.
Yeah.
And it's Dr. Bricksdale, played by Jonathan Holmes, who's acting, weird, or just has one of those faces where he looks a little suspicious. And they, investigate the hand device that's supposed to access the ship, but it doesn't work because he's deactivated it. But it doesn't matter because they've taken actual garage door openers and turned them into, beam up beacons for the ship. So the truss can get up and down pretty easily with that. And we get some cool like shootouts. They have like I don't know what kind of pistol it is, but it's a fully automatic, not an Uzi, but smaller, and it can apparently just like shred doors to pieces. Like if you just point it at a lock and go, it makes a nice little outline like right around the lock. So that you can go through there. But
I liked how the strike team, they all had their guns and they're yelling, "Don't kill him! Don't kill him!" So why aren't you sending them in with Zats or any kind of stun weapon? I mean, you have to have a huge supply of Zats, and if you're not going to kill him, you can't in that situation shoot to maim. You have a shot, you have to take it.
You gotta have another option.
Yeah,
but Sam was on the know, and she kind of was there waiting at his getaway point.
Yeah,
which I don't know why he didn't just do that inside the warehouse or something, or
beam out. Yeah, I mean, it's not like
go behind a crate or something. But
yeah, it's another good point. Yeah, there are some weird moments in this.
Of course, when they made this, they probably didn't predict that 20-something years later. Oh, exactly. This
Yeah.
came out 20 years ago. 20 years later, we were going to sit around and analyze it. Though I'm probably sure fans back 20 years ago were still analyzing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know I was on the Stargate boards at one point, or probably around this time, and I don't know that I was picking episodes apart like this, but I was on the board, so maybe I was on there putting out these plot holes.
This episode makes no sense.
But I didn't listen to the commentary on this one, but I did see online that the episode developed because they had an idea for Stargate goes poof. And then what do we do?
Oh, okay.
So the Stargate disappearing was, I believe, first, and then they created a episode, which makes sense then if you think about it, all the weird plot jumps, because you got to make it fit.
But it's not like they would have done anything different if they had the Stargate, though. Like this, losing the Stargate is barely an inconvenience, right? I mean, it's like, oh no, people are trapped, but there's no ticking time bomb there. They just can't talk to Teal'c, but Teal'c kind of figures out what's going on anyways.
Yeah.
And then the bad guys tell Sam that, oh yeah, we're killing millions of Jaffa, so there's no drama around, cut off from Earth. Teal'c needs to deliver vital information to them, but can't, type thing. So it's, it's barely an inconvenience to them to lose the Stargate, but we get to see the Prometheus, which is kind of cool.
That's true.
It flies around and.
Well, you're right, though. There was no, Teal'c was off world. So you think about it like, oh, it was really lucky that he wasn't there when they released the bioweapon for the, Rebel Jaffa meeting. And you're like,
yeah,
no, it doesn't matter because he doesn't have a symbiote anymore.
Yeah.
So you're right. All of that going on and he's off world. So you're thinking, oh, he's at risk. That's what's big. That's what they've got to save Teal'c. Nope.
Yeah. And and then there's all this talk about like, we can't use the Prometheus. We can't use the Prometheus. It's a being retrofit. And then like next scene, there's the Prometheus flying. And you're like, what? Like,
well, I think they were saying they can't send it through hyperspace to other planets.
Yeah, but it made it sound like it was like, in a warehouse someplace being worked on or something.
Yeah.
And it's just like
it was in dry
full crew complement flying around and
at this point too, has the Daedalus been, because that's the next ship that we see.
No, I think that's at the very end of season one
or beginning of next season.
Yeah,
okay. I couldn't remember when the Daedalus kind of pops up. But.
So what also is interesting is this, I believe, was the half season finale. So it would have been, I forget, like December, it says September. So September and then whenever the next one picked up. So this was, I don't know, like usually they did a cliffhanger, remember? Like a 2-parter cliffhanger in between, and they didn't. So
yeah, they did on Atlantis because the next episode of Atlantis is The Storm, which is excellent. So probably don't remember this one. Very Freudian slip. Probably don't remember this one very much because like if it's followed immediately by The Storm and when you're watching it, it's like, whoa, that's.
Yeah, The Storm was a good one. I remember that by just saying the name of it.
Yeah.
This one, it took me a minute when I watched it again. I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing I was just thinking too is why doesn't Earth just grab another gate at this point? Because which I think in later seasons of Atlantis they start harvesting gates for things. So has it not occurred to them like, hey, let's get a Stargate from whatever abandoned planet and use that as our backup gate? But maybe they don't want to have like 2 gates going on Earth because that was a problem in the earlier seasons with Mayborn's team.
Yeah. I think probably the end kind of universe reason for that would be like they haven't had access to a ship that, even as many like motherships and cargo ships, and Teal'c is able to get his hand on or thinks he can get his hand on a cargo ship, no problem. As difficult as that is, like they just never seem to have one around when they have a good idea like that.
Oh, but now you have a whole bunch of planets with nobody
that's
living.
Right.
So theoretically.
Yeah.
At least no Jaffa living if they had slaves or whatever.
Right. But you might be able to go visit one of those planets and pick up a mothership or a Alkesh or something.
Yeah, exactly. There's got to be lots. Yeah, especially on Zaren's planet. Just gate back there and take whatever you want before
Do
Ball
they have
does.
an aqua mine? Because that sounds like it might be a good deal.
Exactly. Yeah.
Maybe that's the Stargate reboot. Is they go back to all these planets that have been, they just bunch of skeletons of Jaffa. They have to harvest the weapons and pick everything back up.
Yeah. And I had a problem also with how quickly the bioweapon worked on the Jaffa because Teal'c's like lost his symbiote, right? Had it removed. And granted, when the symbiote dies, like the poisons the body and stuff, but Teal'c's had his symbiote like removed for like days before he, would die, right? He just tends to go a little crazy and have flashbacks and stuff. And like, but no, like this somehow manages, like the Gould and the Tok'ra I can understand because like it's connected to probably like the spine or something, but with the Jaffa, like they should be like, oh no, right, all of our symbiotes are dead. Like this is going to be a real problem for us in a day or two.
Right.
Well, I think it's like the death throes of the symbiote. It's like when they get stabbed, in the symbiote pouch, like it releases poison. So I think it's like that. It's like as the symbiote's dying, it like immediately poisons the Jaffa, or like it releases whatever into their system. So I think that's what's going on with that. It's not just like removing it and letting them. At least that's my headcanon of that.
I was thinking Teal'c like reached in, grabbed his symbiote out before it poisoned him, and then like, here's some Tritonic. Like, let me save you.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I was thinking.
They just need to come up with their Tritonin bomb that.
Yeah.
That'll be green, and it'll put green liquid everywhere.
Yeah. I did remember while I was watching this with the whole. Do you remember V? The TV show V, not like the one 5 years ago, but I'm talking like 80s. So when they went up in hot air balloons and they had like the red powder that killed all the visitors and stuff, that was very dramatic, right? It like went through the air and all this. And this was invisible. It permeated buildings pretty quickly. I don't know. I was thinking it might take a little bit longer. I don't know. It was much more dramatic on V in the 80s.
Yeah, I think Teal'c's going to be visiting all those chemtrails forums from now on, too. Like, it's real. I saw it. But
yeah, I think the budget here went to the ships and
the
missile and stuff. They didn't have the budget to show to have extra minutes of watching the cloud descend or whatever.
Yes. And Carter got a new leather outfit.
Yeah, the pleather outfit. Yeah.
She wore a lot of different outfits. When they were in Area 51 in the little jumpsuits, like the desert camo colored jumpsuits. I was like, why are y'all wearing that? And then, of course, the guy had to say, oh, we don't let anyone come in their street clothes anymore. And I'm like, okay.
But then he somehow managed to beam himself up to the ship and beam himself back down and not get caught.
Yeah, exactly.
There was no, double blind watching the security footage to make sure no one's doing anything they shouldn't.
Yeah.
And I think Daniel probably told someone around about the $2 million Cayman Island account.
I would hope so.
We never like, oh, where's Dr. Bricksdale? Is he going to prison? No, we let him go and he's going to go like buy an island or something.
I love how quickly he changed his mind. Like, I'm not telling you anything. I know nothing. Like, blah, 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 blah. And then he's like, we know about the Cayman Island account and we'll let you keep the money. He's like, oh, really? Oh, well, let me. Yay. Here's all the stuff you need to know.
Well, he probably figures Daniel probably figures the trust will get him eventually anyway.
But we do get to see Hoskins taken out. Hoskins, who's been with us for a few episodes, he gets pretty grisly staff blast to the chest by Teal'c. Right, I think Teal'c was very upset. But yeah, I mean, it was kind of shoddy work overall by the Jack O'Neill members of SG1 in this one. They get zatted like right away. They get captured. They don't disable the ship. They just, the ship gets away. It's kind of just like they don't actually prevent any planets from getting, toxined. So yeah, it was just it wasn't their finest hour, I don't think.
Daniel should have had spent a little more time with the Zat and the blowing up crystals and stuff in the ship to keep it from blow up the hyperdrive or disable the hyperdrive and all that.
And again, just something like him saying like, "Oh no, like the translation I did to save Erica Durance's life, like that was used to basically commit mass murder and stuff and war crimes." Although we do get the Trust actually gets to do the whole like you're the real Nazi here. It's like, no, the Jaffa have no control because like, this is Sam saying, don't kill the Jaffa because they're just, they're taught to worship these people as gods from like a very young age. And the Trust guy goes, oh, so they're just following orders? Where have I heard that before? I was like, well, Trust guy does have a point, but
well, yeah, and let's just talk for a minute how many Jaffa still are not seeing the Gould as false god, because we've killed a lot of Goulds. Like, there's not a heck of a lot of them left, right? System lords and all that. And the rebel Jaffa are growing, but at the same time, word's not spreading very quickly. Like, we need some real evangelization here. Like, they need to work.
Yeah.
I mean, like, they need to find some real charismatic leaders who aren't going to be secret Goulds and, really spread the word here.
Yeah.
It's
I am Zatanno. Yeah.
I
don't
know. It's slow going is all I'm saying.
I was also kind of thinking about Zarin, like how did she get in? Because I mean, there can't be too many Gould running around. So how did she, like, did she just pop up out of nowhere to ball and say, I'll join your service, and did the Tok'ra, make a backstop identity and post on Gould Facebook saying, or something exactly. Like, here's pictures from 200 years ago or whatever.
Well, the Jaffa she gets aren't exactly the sharpest knives in the drawer either. So
that was good. I like that. Yeah.
Well, yeah, like they're like, oh no, we're gonna stay here and watch the prisoners while you interrogate them. She's like, no, leave me alone. Like, go someplace else. And the next thing we see is they're all like running through a field. Like all of her Jaffa are like together. It's like, well, no, you could just stand outside the door in case she needs you. You don't actually have to leave the base and go running through a meadow or anything. But I don't know.
Probably we're saving budget not to hire extra.
Yeah. Jaffa. But yeah. So I mean, there's a lot of weird stuff happening here, but it's not the worst thing I've ever seen.
No, it's not a terrible episode. It's just, I guess I kind of zoned out a little bit on all of the explanations. There was a lot of talk. Oh, we can't use the hand thingy because it's coordinated to Osiris's DNA and this and that. So we have to have the garage door opener, but then we have this and then, and I'm just like,
yeah. Okay. And a lot of things that are just like outright like negated or proven to be false in the very next scene. It's like, well, we can't use the hand device. I use the hand device to get up to the ship, and then like, well, the Prometheus is unavailable. Here comes the Prometheus, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
We can't dial the Earth gate because it won't work with our GDO say it's not good. And then all of a sudden Teal'c's stepping through the gate. So
yes. So why did Teal'c try? I mean,
well, I guess he had his radio, and just on the off chance that Daniel or Sam had somehow managed to get to the other side of the gate again. I don't know.
Yeah. Cause Daniel was calling on the radio. It said, Teal'c, we need your help. And that's when Teal'c stepped through.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah.
Presumably
trying again. Called them again. See what happens. See if they pick up.
Yeah. And presumably Daniel, if the iris was open or closed or whatever, they couldn't get through, he wouldn't say, come help us. He would have said, we need, help us a different way. But he said, come on through, basically.
I don't know. I think whoever was, I can't remember which listener it was, whoever was keeping that list of 10 times Daniel was a sociopath. I think this probably, this episode indirectly makes the list. And, I wouldn't have put him past him to just tell Teal'c to come through if, there were like 50 guys waiting with guns pointing at the Stargate. Sure, it's fine. But yeah, I don't know. It was interesting. I mean, the commentary was fun, not very informative. It was Peter DeLuise and Dan Shea, Sergeant Seiler. So they talked a lot about like the more muscular guys in the cast, and some of the fight sequences. And I guess when they had like the, when they're in the warehouse and the guy shoots and the bioweapon canisters break and it's filling with gas and stuff. That was actually like a mixture of ammonia and something else. and it was like in a sealed room, and they were filming it, and it wasn't like looking correctly. So Peter DeLuise kept running in to like the room where the ammonia gas was to like rearrange things so he could get a better shot, and running out, and the stunt coordinator was like, what are you doing? I'm not going in there. Why are you? And the eyes are stinging and just his lungs are burning but you do that to get your best shot. And he did have a quick cameo in this one, although it's not very noticeable, when they're reviewing the security footage of not the gate being taken up, but the other scientist who mysteriously disappears, and then we don't find out why or what happened to him. Like when he's putting the transponder on the Stargate, one of the guys like in that video footage is Peter DeLuise, but it's like fast forwarded, so you can't really tell. Yeah,
I forgot to even look for him.
Yeah, and he apologized for making his cameo so hard to find in this one. So
That's good.
All right. Any other final thoughts?
I have one more question.
Oh, yeah.
At the end. Okay, so they're getting out of there with the gate, and they use the homing beacon. Okay, so the Prometheus got the gate, but it also got Daniel, Sam, and Teal'c. How?
I mean,
Were
they were
like all
just
holding on to the homing beacon? Like
or holding on to the gate or something? I don't
holding
know.
hands.
They were holding hands.
That was my, I don't know.
Yeah. And I thought we were going to get something a little bit better. Like, we'd at least see the Prometheus fire at something, right? Even if it's just like the place where the ship had been, or, the bullets hit the LCAS just as like the gate beams out and there's like this explosion, and like they're hanging in there for a second, and then the gate, and then everybody's safe. So it was kind of like just like they got away with the weapon too, and the ship.
I really thought they were going through the gate, honestly, to not Area 51, to the
Alpha site.
And then they would have gotten like the gate, and the thing would have blown up. And yeah, I was with you. I thought that all of that would be more dramatic than we got him. Oh, and we got SG1.
Yeah. Because I think the ship could blow up and the gate would still be kind of just floating there, because it's a lot more durable than the ship.
Yeah.
But maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
I believe the ship does come back. I don't know if it's this season or in season 9, or at least there's like one more thing about the trust that I'm remembering.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not done with them quite yet. What about foreign languages? We got any titles?
In German, it's just Endgame or Endspiel. And then in French, we get Sans Pitié, which means without mercy, what I thought was a good one.
That's actually, yeah. I mean, it says more about what happened.
Yeah. And because it's not really an end game of any sort, right? They don't even know that they're playing a game, and then it doesn't end. So
I think that the title Endgame was supposed to refer to the gate is gone.
Oh, okay.
So that's and I'm like, but that was the first minute.
Yeah. And so I guess the Czech, I'm not going to try and pronounce it. The Czech title was Game Over, which is probably more like it's game over for the Stargate program. You don't really say end game unless it's like you've been matching wits with somebody for months, and then oh well.
But I like that the French made it about the Jaffa dying, or the
at
weapon.
Least they acknowledge it.
Better.
Yeah. All right. Well, we do have one piece of feedback that we can cover here. USMC9355 writes, and this is on our episode about the Stargate SG1 episode called 2001 with the Shen. And the comment is just 2020 was a storyline in every sci-fi show ever. And I think we certainly have referenced that in 2001, 2010, and then other episodes as it's come up. But it was a very sci-fi storyline filled year, if I can recall, which I rarely do.
Mm-hmm.
But we'd also like to take a moment to thank our patrons who make it possible for us to create the Secrets of Stargate. So thank you to all of our patrons. Their generous donations at sqpn.com/give make it possible for us to continue the Secrets of Stargate and all the shows on StarQuest. And you can join them by visiting sqpn.com/give. And be sure to follow the show on Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or find our video versions at youtube.com/StarQuestMedia. And to find previous episodes of Secrets of Stargate and to send feedback, please visit sqpn.com/Stargate. And you can email us at stargate@sqpn.com and I guess follow StarQuest on social media at facebook.com/StarQuestMedia or on Twitter/X at SQPN. And we'll be back next time with the next episode of Stargate Atlantis, The Storm. Until then, Lisa Jones, thank you for joining us and sharing the secrets of Stargate.
Thanks, Victor.
And thank you, Jeff Haecker.
Thanks, Victor.
And once again, I'm Victor Lambs. Thank you for listening to The Secrets of Stargate on StarQuest, and let me ask you something. It's late at night, and there's not that many people around. Do you ever get the urge to just dial up the gate and check out another planet, just for a few minutes?
Yes.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm sorry, but that just happens to be how I feel about it. What do you think?